and took some time out to pay their respects. Now that the day is almost over and I'm done with my work for the day, I've had this box sitting around for a long time and I'm just going to dig into it. Check out this little knife. That's a nice, fun little knife. Carry it in my back pocket. It's kind of like it's like having a little dinosaur claw in my back pocket. Pretty much all I do is open packages with it. All right, so long story short, my friend Ken is part of this O-ring resurgence and Stephen Plett, and they have created a line called Delta 17. So let me get this paper out of the way because I'm sure that's going to be loud. All right, there we go. This is the whole run. Why did I buy the whole run? Well, I like to support small business, number one. And number two, this is part of the O-ring resurgence. There's quite a few O-rings coming out. Strike Force Alpha led the way. Robo Skull's retro figures from Grindstone has also already made it out. And then Delta 17 just blew the lid off with a whole run of figures, which is very exciting. So yeah, I don't do paid promotions on here. I don't take free content or free materials and then promote them. That's just not what I do. But I do support small business, and so I picked up a whole set. So let's check these bad boys out. I really don't know much about these. I figured I would go through them with you, and we'll just check out who they are. See if they got some dossiers on the back. So we'll just look at the front, we'll look at the back and see what's going on here. So this is the Shadow Dragon, the enemy leader. I've seen photos of this one online and he looks pretty great, man. There's gonna be a lot of reflections in here. Let me see if the lighting helps or hurts. Yeah, I think lighting actually makes it worse. So anyway, sorry about that. There's lots of reflections in here, but the enemy leader has a really cool head sculpt with a little attachment up top, kind of like a Bushido type helmet. So I dig that. So, age unknown, he's a mystery. Name unknown, birthplace unknown, supreme leader of the Dark Shadows. All right, so this is the big bad guy, and they are the enemy of Delta 17. Shadow Dragon employs the mercenary faction known as Retrograd to assist in his objectives. So they hire some Russians, I believe. And he also maintains an army of Okami robots and keeps a core group of advisors to oversee his plans. So he's got a removable... This is cool that they tell you the toy features right here. It's got a removable cape, posable wire in the cape. That's great. And swords can be stowed in the rear shoulder armor. I've heard good things about the accessories being... they can carry everything that they come with, I believe. And they're very modular, so that sounds cool. So they've got comic book style artwork here, which I don't hate, but you know me, for that vintage feel, I really prefer painted illustrations. But this comic book look was even very popular in the early 90s, and Hasbro was under pressure to switch up to this comic book style. So I'm not surprised that they opted to go this direction. For me, with Operation Recall, we're going to go with as vintage as possible. We've got Doug Hart doing our package paintings. So I believe this shows the whole run here. So as you can see, there's 5 on this side and 6 on this side. Let me see. Shadow Dragon, is he included on the back? Yeah, he's up at the top, as you would expect the leader to be. So yeah, it looks like this is the whole line. I believe it's 11 figures, but we'll see. There is one variant that I know of where they did a skin tone difference on one of the troopers, which is cool. Good to get a little diversity in the lineup there. All right, so this is Preacher. I love that name. Very cool comic book, I believe by Garth Ennis. So this is the Delta 17 Marksman. And yeah, it's comic book style art, but it's pretty great. I like the lighting on it. That's really nice rim lighting going down the side of the rifle in the back of his shoulder. So they're lit from behind. They're kind of keeping that, a Real American Hero explosion background with the kind of the light illuminating from behind, which allows you to put reflections, cast back light into the illustration itself, which is one of the main benefits of that explosion that Ed Morrill explained so eloquently. So this is Preacher. And let's see, he's 27. Okay, so he looks a little younger or a little older in the illustration than that to me, but his name is Clive Williams. He's from Chicago, and he's a corporal. I won't read you the whole file card because this video would be very long. But I will say, he's their sniper. I'll tell you what they come with. He comes with an MRAD sniper rifle and low-tech M4 for close-range encounters. The MRAD features a removable bipod, and both rifles can be clipped onto the backpack for easy storage. So I do really like that they kind of spell out what the toy features are here. That's pretty sweet. All right, moving on. We got another bad guy. Now these are the robots. So these are basically the, you know, the parallel for battle android troopers. So you're going to have somebody to smash. These are the Okami, which are the enemy robot ninjas. And let's see what the features are. Both hands on the Okami can be removed and replaced with smaller hand swords or a submachine gun. It's equipped with a two-part backpack that can stow all gear, including the swappable hands. The backpack can be used in a light attack mode, stowing only the long swords and gun, or it can be used in the full carry mode where both backpack parts are attached and loaded up. So he comes with a lot of stuff. I will say so I know these are modular and they carry everything, which is great. Functionality wise, that's great. Aesthetically, this is very utilitarian. You know, you're not going to have that GI Joe feel with like a backpack that looks like it was hand sculpted and has like soft good pouches and canteens and stuff like that. Not that you necessarily need it, especially with an Android character like this, but I will say, you know, from a sculpting perspective, that looks like a very utilitarian thing. It's cool that it carries everything and that it breaks apart, but yeah, it's not going to be like that a real American Hero style. Now going back to Preacher, it does look like his is a more organic backpack. So I'm excited to take these out, get these in hand, and really start, you know, analyzing them. All right, and this is the Delta 17 infantry, and let's go ahead. I believe there's a second infantryman here. Yeah, this is it. So this is the variation. So there's two of these Delta 17 infantry guys, and you're not going to be able to see it probably, but you have a lighter skin and a darker skin one. And it's really just on the face mask. I don't believe they have exposed skin anywhere else. But these are your OD green troopers. And these are pretty sweet, man. They got removable. I don't want to say what they have because I don't know these so well yet, but it looks like either goggles or a breathing apparatus. But bunch of weapons in here, man. They're pretty nicely packed. I will say Operation Recall is not going to do this like bubble in a bubble with all the weapons. You know, I understand why people do this. It's so you can see everything it comes with laid out like that. But it kills kind of the nostalgia factor for me packing it that way. I want it in a bubble where you got to shake that thing around and kind of look and see what accessories are in there. And I also think this plastic on top of him makes him less visible. Like there's way too many reflections going on right now. It's honestly kind of hard to see the figure because you're not just looking through this one layer of plastic, you're looking through this other layer of plastic that wraps around him. So there's multiple, you know, you guys are all familiar with this kind of case by now where there's two pieces of plastic in here. So yeah, there's a couple pieces of plastic to look through. And to me, that hinders visibility a little bit. I'd rather go with the one bubble, you know, with everything kind of bundled into a couple bubbles. Now we will have stuff like out to the side, we'll have a bubble up top, you know, we'll do it like they did it back in the day. So there's pros and cons to this kind of clamshell bubble. I think the pro is that you can clearly see what all the accessories are, which is great. The con is that it takes away from the vintage feel, in my opinion, and it also adds this kind of double plastic, which causes like double reflections and makes it harder to kind of see in there. But yeah, overall, these look really cool, man. I can't wait to break them out. It looks like construction-wise, they're very similar to a Real American Hero. I do believe they have swivel arm wrists as well, which is something we're doing with Operation Recall, and our friends at Grindstone are doing as well with Call Sign Longbow. So this is Jaguar, the enemy assassin. Okay, I like this guy. This guy's cool, man. I dig that illustration too. Got the pointy tip right at you. Yeah, so this is a pretty sweet looking little figure here. Kind of reminds me of like a Firefly, but a little bit more of a ninja bend to him. Again, I'm gonna have to check these backpacks out. We'll see if I like or if they feel organic enough for me, if they feel kind of fabric like real world backpack enough or not. But yeah, overall, great art. So unknown. This is another mystery guy. He's second in command of the Dark Shadows, answering only to the Shadow Dragon, who you guys met first, with the kind of Bushido thing on his helmet. Cruel, cold, and calculating. Toy features, both baton swords stow on the backpack. Either the sniper rifle or the SMG can be attached to the backpack. Obviously, he'll be carrying the other weapon. And there's a bipod on the sniper rifle that can be removed. I really like the toy features there. Good job to Steven and Ken. That's good thinking, man. Really enjoy that. All right, I think a lot of people like the Retrograd leader. She's pretty sweet, man. I love this head sculpt, dude. She looks like a classic kind of beauty. I think that's a great head sculpt. You know, they struggled back in the day to do decent female head sculpts. Hell, they struggled into the 2000s to do decent female head sculpts. This strikes a good balance for me. It's not tremendously detailed. It's kind of it's stylized. It's a good looking head sculpt in my opinion. I love her little hat tilted to the side. It's just a really nice portrait. So I think she's probably a favorite. One thing I should mention, and you might be able to see it on the hand here, is they have kind of the trigger finger forward a little bit. And so that's a little variation from a Real American Hero, obviously a conscious decision that they made. And I just wanted to point that out. So I'm curious, man. I got to break these open and see how I feel about that. Now this boy, he's hilarious, man. Leonitis is hilarious to me. I live in Southern Pines, North Carolina, right next to Fort Liberty. And you see dudes like this all over the place, man. These big buck, because they're not like Special Forces and Delta Force are not like they were back in the 80s when my dad was in. My dad was lean and could run 20 miles with a ruck on, no problem. These guys are all jacked and they've got a lot of tattoos now, and they definitely have had beards pretty consistently for the last decade, and it's just a very different look. This guy looks like he could be from my hometown, you know, on the weekend off wearing his civilian clothes. So yeah, this one's fun for me, man. I really like Leonitis. As you can see, he comes with a dog, which I think is freaking awesome. You guys know I'm a big fan of the sidekicks and the lines. So looking forward to breaking him open. His name's Leonitis. Let's see where he's from. He's 36. Leonard Johnson. He's a warrant officer. He was born in Manitoba, and he joined the Canadian Army. Let's see, toy features. Puppy attaches to backpack. Good job, man. So I carry my dogs with me everywhere. I really appreciate that Leonitis also carries his puppy everywhere. Dog bowl attaches to backpack. So we've got a few dogs in our line. I'm not going to talk about recall too much, but one of our guys, Night Raid, has a dog with him. We didn't do a retachable or detachable dog bowl, but we did a dog bowl with a little carabiner attached and you know, a little water bottle and stuff for Night Raid. And this is his big Scorpion backpack that's got the let's see, that'll be a Softer Goods Scorpion backpack with a detachable ammo belt that then feeds in. These are 2-ups, so don't be blown away by the size of these, but this is a Russian NSV. So he'll have a tripod, a soft ammo belt, a backpack with a bowl molded into it, and then he'll have his dog, Ozzy. All right, so anyway, Leonitis is really cool, man. This is a favorite of mine. Just because, number one, the dog, you know, I'm a big dog guy. But number two, he looks like dudes in my hometown right now, man. There's so many special ops guys that are just jacked up and tattooed and bearded. All right, this is Shephard. This is the Delta 17 leader. So I've been struggling with this a little bit with Breacher. So our door kicker also has kind of a similar scary face mask going on. And I'm thinking of calling an audible on Breacher. We just got an amazing head sculpt in where he's not wearing a helmet. He's got this backward hat on. We've got a story for him where he used to work for the SWAT team. That's how he kind of like sharpened his teeth as a door kicker. And man, I'm thinking of doing just no helmet. He just wears his hat backwards and he goes in with nothing but attitude. And I know that's not super practical, but you guys have to see this head sculpt for Breacher. Anyway, back to Delta 17. So Shephard is their leader. I'm curious to see if these goggles fold down. If they rotate down, that'll be awesome if they do. So again, you can see everything. It looks like he's got the night vision goggles right there that clip onto the helmet. So I'm sure they rotate down. That's going to be fun. So he's 43, James Washburn out of Philly. He's a second lieutenant, so he's a butter bar. Now, what's he doing at age 43 as a second lieutenant? We need some backstory. As the field commander of Delta 17, Shephard doesn't flinch when the bombs start dropping and the bullets start flying. That's the moment when he feels the most at one with himself. He's seasoned, but not cynical. So if he's seasoned, why is he a second lieutenant? Like, people go to college, they go to ROTC, and they come out second lieutenant, right? I'm curious. I want to know why he's just now a second lieutenant. Maybe he went to OCS late. I don't know. We need some backstory. But I know they're working on a comic. His whole adult life has been about the military, joining the Army at age 18 and soon transferring to the Rangers. His last posting was a member of the U.S. Army Delta Force before personally being selected to lead Delta 17. Shephard is brave, bold, and task-oriented. So I think Ken and Stephen, you guys got to fill in that gap there of how did he just now become a second lieutenant? Because usually that's, you know, you're an enlisted officer, and that's where you start. Thunder Battalion, enemy infantry. So these guys are kind of the bad guy troopers, And they look great, man. I love all these pouches. I love the paint apps on the accessories. Did we ever get that in G.I. Joe? Did we ever get painted accessories in a Real American Hero? I know I've documented all of it, and you guys probably think I should know right off the bat. But believe it or not, I don't think we did. I don't think we ever got painted accessories. And I'm not saying that like that's a problem. I'm just making conversation. So anyway, he's got a helmet, and he's got a visor, and it's got a red filler in the visor, and then it's got an opening. I don't think there's anything clear in there. I think it's just a kind of a hole to see through. But that's pretty sweet. You could do some fun storytelling there. If he's in night mode, probably wearing the red one. I dig this figure, man. I think he's really cool. He's a good looking figure. All right, Thunder Battalion. Obviously, the ages and names are all various, but they're special operations units. They're Russian. So yeah, there's a lot of Russian bad guys in here. That's definitely a big part of the story. So I think this will work well with Call Sign Longbow. There's a couple Russians for you there. All right, two more. Kestrel, Delta 17 Grenadier. Sweet, man. I don't even think I've seen this girl yet. I do like the painted rivets, man. I think the painted rivets look really nice. So as you can see, it's painted brown on the shoulders there, and then she's got silver in the arms. I don't mind that the arms aren't painted flesh. I do like that the shoulders are painted to match the shirt. So she's 25. She's from Poland, and she's an infantry, grenadier, and a pilot. Let's see. So it doesn't talk about her accessories there. Okay, so I guess it doesn't do that for every figure. Maybe if they have too much bio, they don't talk about the toy features. But most of them, you get the toy features. So removable helmet and visor, removable belt, and then a gun and a backpack. So most of them have the toy features, but I guess if they have a long file card, they don't. But yeah, again, she's a pretty great little head sculpt there. I think she looks good. All right, Delta 17. This is the last one. His name is Rooster. I think he's going to be very popular because, you know, it does that hit and run thing where you can only see the whites of their eyes. And for the record, his whites of his eyes are painted in there. So a Real American Hero very rarely did painted whites of their eyes, but they did a few times in the 90s, and they also did for hit and run in 88. So this is Rooster. He's a badass, man. I like his mohawk. Eric Warcloud is his name. He's from Oksani? Yeah, somebody else say that. Anyway, toy features comes with a dual pack system. Radio portion can be detached from the larger pack and worn on its own. It's also got a detachable radio headset. So again, they got some kind of modular accessory solutions, which I think is really cool. It's got the little two antenna, actually. Maybe that's when you break it apart, one goes on each piece. And then it looks like it has a weapon maybe with a suppressor. I'm not sure what that little piece is up there. But yeah, this is a cool looking figure. Again, it's kind of hard to make out the figure with the double shell. There is a lot of reflection. So I'm just going to have to cut these bad boys open and check them out. Anyway, these have been sitting here for a little while, and I just got a break and got some time to break them out. So I thought I'd do that with you guys. And let's see. If you guys are interested, it's delta17toys.com. I know they just rolled them out and they were doing maybe like 10 or 15% off. So I believe I might have seen Ken in the comments. Oh yeah, Delta 17's in the comments too. Cool. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm happy to do this. Like I said, support small business, and the O-ring resurgence is upon us. And if Hasbro's not going to do it, let's do it ourselves, right? So let's see. We've got shout out to RoboSkull. They've got their retro already. I think he's sold out. Maybe they're back in stock, but definitely check out RoboSkull's retro figure. That came from Grindstone Toys, who's working right now on Call Sign Longbow. They are with the factory, tooling things up and working through the process. So Call Sign Longbow is in progress. Operation Recall, obviously follow our social media and you'll see tons of updates on that. And then if you want some O-ring right now, check out Strike Force Alpha and check out Delta 17. And I believe, again, the RoboSkull, I think the retro figure sold out. But you can check out Delta 17. You can check out Strike Force Alpha. And if I missed anybody else, you guys drop them in the comments for me. But yeah, man, this is a great start. They hit the ground running. I'm impressed, honestly. I really am. 11 figures right out of the gate. Just bam, in stock and available. That's a strong move. So anyway, I've got my favorites too. I like Rooster. I like my Special Ops, looking like he's one of my local hometown boys, hometown heroes. Leonitis, pretty cool dog guy. I'm impressed by the head sculpts on the females. I think they look pretty sharp. You know, they're stylized enough. I think they're better looking than most of the Real American Hero women. Not that we got a ton of them, but I feel like these are better looking head sculpts than certainly what we got for Scarlet or CoverGirl. Yeah, Zorana was so bad they did her twice. It still wasn't great. So, yeah, there's a lot to love in here, man. I'm going to enjoy digging in. I think these two look pretty sweet together as well, kind of the Firefly Battalion. So, yeah, there's a lot to check out here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and I'll talk with you guys soon. Take care, enjoy your Memorial Day, and be sure to spend some time thinking about those who have sacrificed everything so we can sit around and play with toys, you know? Y'all take care.